This is a difficult game to review because it deals with a very controversial and very polarizing topic of suicide, right? And I don't take that lightly, but I'm also one that doesn't self-filter on any content that I ingest. So it doesn't matter to me what the topic is. I'm going to enjoy the content for what it is, try to understand what the message is, and then return back to my happy, healthy, normal life. So I understand that some people may look at this and say, wow, it deals with suicide, therefore it must be a good game or must be a bad game or must be put on a pedestal. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as a video gamer who played a video game, and my review is going to be based entirely on that. I just wanted to preface this review with that because I thought the Silent Hill, the short message, was horrible. It was not a fun game. And I'm worried for the future of what Silent Hill may become if this is starting to pass as something that may be exciting. So let's talk about the positives first. It is a very short and sweet in that sense. You know, it gets to the point pretty quickly. Basically a walking simulator. But it's based on Unreal Engine 5. And let me tell you, wow, does that thing look amazing. It definitely doesn't run at 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5. But even with the reduced frame rate, because of the over-the-top visuals, you're really not going to notice. And I'm glad for that. I think Unreal Engine 5 is really starting to find its stride, and I'm excited to see where this goes. The draw distance, the lack of artifacting, the very, very high texture and quality details to everything in the universe looks amazing. And it is just, even though you're just standing in really like mundane places like a high school hallway with lockers or a little girl's bedroom looking at her toys, I found myself stopping and pausing to kind of take in everything and be like, wow, this is really, really, really cool looking. Which I didn't think that Unreal Engine 5 could look that good. Outside of that, everything else about this game is absolute garbage. And I'm frustrated that this was hyped up to get you wound up for the upcoming Silent Hill games that are, obviously starting to roll back out. This is kind of what they thought, what people wanted. It worries me a lot. Now, again, being an older dude, it's sometimes hard for me to put myself in the roles of the character that I am playing. So, playing as a angsty teenage girl who is obsessed with likes on Instagram or Facebook and basically goes out of her way to, I won't say ruin someone's life, but definitely goes out of her way to be evil because she thinks one of her friends is being taken away from her by yet another person is wild and bizarre to me. So I have a hard time wrapping my head around that message. But even if I could, the moment-to-moment gameplay in this game is very boring. It's a walking simulator. You're going to walk from room to room. You're going to read notes. You're going to get little vignette cutscenes of these girls, basically being teenagers, just being whiny, snot little teenagers who aren't happy that they're getting as many likes as somebody else, and trying to kind of uncover what it means to live a life. And while I love coming of age stories and that genre has always appealed to me, this doesn't feel like character development as it does so much a whiny kid who got caught and is trying to kind of reconcile solely because they have to, not because they want to. There's no like hero's journey in this that basically takes somebody from, the beginning to the end where they overcome a fear, overcome something, realize, and become a better person. Here, it's more of a whiny kid getting caught and realizing they're basically stuck in this time loop, I guess. I don't know. It's not really explained. And realizing that the only way they can kind of break the cycle is to just talk about their feelings. And that it's only because they realize they've been in this simulation or whatever for so long. That's the only way that they can get out. And that's why they choose to kind of turn the other cheek, take the other fork in the road, whatever the terminology you want to use here is. It just makes the whole story feel very flat and weak. There wasn't a moment of self-sacrifice. There wasn't a moment of true contemplation other than, oh, I feel bad, boo, feel bad for me kind of thing. And that really is a bummer. And I don't know when Konami was making this game and Motoya Kamo was directing and writing this and producing this, I don't know if he ran out of time and just couldn't figure out what the ending wanted, what he wanted the ending to be, or whether it was, this is what his vision was all along. But he has a very, very long history of working on different games. He's worked on like a lot of major Nintendo games in the past. He worked on other Silent Hills in the past. I don't get it. Anyways, it's stupid. It's a walking simulator. That's all it is. And the most frustrating thing is at certain points in the story, you're going to be chased by the flower monster, who is horrifying because it's rendered at like 5 or 6 frames a second. So it has a very unnatural element to it that you're going to basically have to run around a maze of weird apartment rooms trying to escape. And the monster will always find you, of course. You can't hide. You just got to kind of do like figure eights and like loop around to figure out how to get out to the next area. This culminates in the final maze or puzzle, whatever, where you have to walk through this and collect these items, which it's not really made clear where the items are, how many you need to open a door, which ultimately leads to the end of the game. The problem is there's so many lighting effects, and when the monster gets close, your cell phone flashlight flakes out and it's staticky and hisses that you will realistically lose, even though you really did nothing wrong, just because you can't even see where to go. It's not that you're like caught in fear and you got caught in the corner of a room and the monster is going to eat you. It's more so you'll be walking into like the side of a hallway because you can't see anything because the game's going crazy. Now, you're playing on the PlayStation 5 with your DualSense controller. Of course, the little vibrating motors are going nuts, and the little speaker is going nuts, and it's staticky, and it does create a fun ambiance. However, it ruins the moment of gameplay, and it's very hard to concentrate. So much so that after losing the third time in a row, I had to look online to see what I was missing to try to find a walkthrough. And it wasn't that I was challenged or, a tough enemy, or I missed a combination and a final move or something like that. It was just, I couldn't tell where to go. And the game didn't do a very good job of explaining that. And that frustrates me. So if you're going to give us a premise of a game or an idea or a concept, make it a good one, right? Make it something that we can sink our teeth into and actually have a chance of beating. So it fails narratively. It absolutely stunningly beautifully, like visually it surpasses any expectation, but the gameplay is bad. So really a lot of misses here. Just kind of doing some quick scans online, I'm definitely not alone. It says it received mixed reviews while critics praised its visuals but criticized its gameplay narrative and chasing sequences, which I agree with. I'll leave my review with this. If you're going to be a game developer, know your audience. That doesn't mean a game like Life is Strange doesn't work. It had a very significant emotional impact with me personally, because I think you'll always find something to relate into somebody else. Yes, you're playing a game as a teenage kid. However, you may have once been a teenage kid who dealt with a situation similar to theirs, and you have some experience to draw off of, or you can relate to it because it's told in a convincing manner, just in the way that I can get into Lord of the Rings, even though I never took a ring to Death Mountain to save the planet. But I can sympathize and relate to the character's journey because it's explained in a proper way. Here, you're just basically thrown into a pit of a whiny, bratty, snotty, semi-suicidal girl who I could even argue isn't really suicidal, is just kind of doing it for attention because she constantly wants to get her Facebook page views up and stuff. I don't know, but it's hard to relate to that when the narrative is so poorly executed. I don't know what the future of Silent Hill holds. I really don't. But I can tell you that if this is the drive and they think that this is what people want, they're sorely mistaken. And I would say, for me, an instant, let's go buy the next Silent Hill game, definitely takes a back seat now after this experience to make me pause and say, maybe I'll wait for other reviewers to come out. So not good for the brand, not good for the game, and definitely not good for me, because this game was a stinker. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.